Water cities. Living near water, people from across the globe flock or vice fence Italy to see the famous city of canals and bridges built on more than 100 islands. Although Venice is the world's best-known water city, it is by no means the only one. Water cities are places that are built or on or near a body of water. They range from tiny communities to huge urban areas and are located alongside or in oceans, seas, bays, lakes, and rivers on every continent in the world except Antarctica. They exist for many reasons, and each one has a fascinating story to tell. Era: Amsterdam, Netherlands. Amsterdam is another European city famous for its canals. It is the capital and largest city in the Netherlands, a country with roughly one-third of its land below sea level. Around about 17% of the country is built on boulders. Large areas of land that people have reclaimed for lakes and North Sea by pumping out water. Amsterdam itself is about 2 meters below sea level. The city was founded in the late 12th century as a fishing village and became an important seaport in the 17th century. It is now known on Europe's largest seaports. Amsterdam was encircled by a moat for 1480 to 1585. Its population shrunk in the 1600s. As the city grew, workers drained swampland and built 3 more concentric half-circle canals around the downtown area. The 4 waterways were used for transportation, defense, and water management. Besides the main canals, about 160 others totaling 100 kilometers in length divide Amsterdam into close to 100 small islands joined by over 1,200 bridges. Although the canals were the city's main transportation routes for centuries, they are now mainly used by smaller barges and boats. However, they continue to play a key role in the city's distinctive character. Asia, Singapore. Singapore is the world's only island city-state, an island that is both a city and an independent country. It is composed of 33 islands. This country has very few natural resources, so it must import almost everything. Projects begun in the 1960s have increased Singapore's land area by almost 25%. Unlike Amsterdam, which was reclaimed land by removing seawater, Singapore was extended its coastline by dumping rocks and sand into the water. A project launched in 2016 will pump out water to create boulders, as in Amsterdam. Urbanization over the years have prompted the government and plant greenery and turned Singapore into a city in a garden. Close to 1/10 of its land is now parks and nature reserves. Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Dubai is the capital of one of seven political territories, the United Arab Emirates, UAE. The country became wealthy due to the discovering of oil in the 1960s. Its economy is now focused on tourism, real estate, and other industries. Dubai is the site of many constructive constructive projects, including Palm Islands. There are artificial islands built like palm trees. The islands are being built along the coast by pulling up enormous amounts of sand and rock. They are adding hundreds of miles of coastline to the city, as well as residences for many thousands of people. Construction began in 2010 to 2001. The first one was completed in the late 2016. A crescent-shaped breakwater around the island protects it from strong waves and storms. Africa. Gambia, Benin. In starting contrast in the modernity of Singapore and Dubai is Gambia, the largest silt village in Africa. The village is located in the middle of Lake Nakwi in the country of Benin. Ghanaiv has about 20,000 residents and 3,000 buildings. Only the school and a particularly built cemetery are located on land. Ghanaiv had its origins in the 7th century. West Africa's slave trade. During that period, a powerful tribe named Van captured and sold people from other tribes into slavery. The Van's religion prohibited them from pursuing people who lived on water. Another tribe in Tofino fled to Lake Naku to avoid capture. They founded the still village and established a way of life that thrives in this day. Their success is reflected in the name of their village, which means we survived. Villagers rely in large part of fishing for their livelihood. They contain bread fishing using a network of underwater fences. They also keep chickens and goats on patches of grass that grow in the water. People travel in long, narrow canoes called pirogues. South America, Uru's floating village, Peru. Like Tofino, the residents of Uru's, a floating village in Peru, moved to water for safety. The Aru people fled to Lake Titicaca over 500 years ago when the Inca and Cola people took over their land. Approximately 2,000 Aru are alive on the 70 floating islands made of totoras reeds. The island, which is 1 to 2.4 meters thick, disintegrate from the bottom. New reeds are continually adding on the top. The Aru people also use the reeds to make canoes, homes, and furniture. They make their living in fishing and selling handicrafts. Although the Aru maintain old traditions, they enjoy some modern amenities. The country has a radio station, and some residents have solar panels and motorboats. North America. Titan, Mexico. The Aztec people ruled large areas of Mesoamerica between the 14th and 16th centuries. According to legend, they came from Aztlan, a mythical island in a lagoon, which might have been a real place located in northern Mexico. Then their gods entrusted them to seek out a new homeland. After a pilgrimage of 200 years, they founded Tenochtitlan, their capital city. After the Spanish conquest in 1521, Tenochtitlan became known as as Mexico City. Some historians think that Mezcatitan, a small human-made island near the Pacific coast of Mexico, is where the Aztec civilization had its beginnings. Ancient manuscripts show that early Aztecs traveled by canoes similar to those used in the inhabitants of Mexicalian. Furthermore, a map from 1579 shows Aztalian and Mezcaltitan to be in exactly the same place. Mezcaltitan, which is about 350 meters by 40 meters, is now home to about 800 people. They live in tile-roofed houses made of adobe, brick, and cement. Many make their lives by catching shrimp for local restaurants. This water town is sometimes called the Mexican Vines. In summer during the rainy season, boats are the only way to travel through the streets. The local children have fun playing water soccer on the island's only soccer pitch, which is underwater. Oceania, Auckland, New Zealand. This modern city of 1.5 million people is on the North Island of New Zealand in the South Pacific Ocean. Auckland is located between two large harbors on an isthmus less than 2 kilometers, 1.2 miles wide at its nearest point. The harbors open the Pacific Ocean to the east and the Tasman Sea to the west. Auckland's nickname is the City of Sails. About 1/6 of the Aucklanders own a boat, and the city has hosted the America's Cup yacht race twice. Residents and visitors alike enjoy the thousands of beaches. Water-related activities include kayaking, parasailing, swimming, surfing, boating, fishing, diving, and beach horseback riding. People and water. Many kinds of water cities exist, besides one you've just read about. For instance, there's a tiny Italian fishing town made of a jumble of brightly colored homes and cling to steep, rocky cliffs. A floating community located in Northern California has fancy, simple, and vintage houseboats. Aircraft carriers use seagoing ships designed to launch aircraft, house thousands of people in military for months at a time. Water represents different things to different people. For residents of water cities, it may mean recreation, a link to nature, or a way of life. It may also mean safety, survival, or an essential connection with the rest of the world. The remarkable diversity of the water cities around the world is testament to people's adaptability and innovation.